Hi there guys, welcome back to another update on the Red Sea Reefer 425 XL. I thought I'd do a quick update. I'd basically done a complete update. I'd scheduled it all in with YouTube. All was set ready to go for yesterday, and then we had a few issues with the tank. So rather than just put that up and show you that everything was honky-dory, like I said in the previous videos, we're going to do this completely honestly with all the ups and downs that we're having. And so I've scrapped it, and I'm just going to do a quick off-the-cuff update on what's happening and what's been going on over the last week. We reached a stage on the Red Sea Reef Mature kit where it was time to introduce fish. Now, they recommended 1 fish per 100 litres of water. Now, I've roughly guesstimated this to be about 350 litres of water in the whole system, taking out the rock and the sand. That's just a rough guesstimate, so I thought, right, I'll just add 3 fish, so I'm slightly under, and let's see how we get on. So rather than move my old livestock over into the new one and basically test the cycle and test the tank with livestock that I've grown quite attached to, as sad as it sounds, we decided to just get 3 new fish and let's see how we get on. Now, obviously I spoke about it in the last video, and I was going to do like a video showing you how we acclimated them and stuff, which I've done anyway, so I can kind of cut it and paste it and show you it in a few further videos of how we acclimate fish. But we basically went and bought 3 lyre-tail anthias from our local fish store. All really healthy, all doing really well, all were great, all females as well. And we brought them back and started acclimating them. Now, to acclimate fish or inverts or anything at all, me personally, what I do is I float the bag for 20 minutes in the main tank, and then I put them in a tub. I've just got a really useful plastic box, and I drip acclimate them using a airline, roughly 1 drip per second, and I'll acclimate them over the course of 45 minutes to an hour, something like that. All 3 went through that absolutely fine. All 3 came out great, so we dropped them all in, and they were doing fine, absolutely brilliant. They were doing great. They were eating. They were doing great. But then after about half a day or so, half a day to a day, I noticed that one of them out of the 3 was starting to become a little bit of a loner. He wasn't really hanging around with the other 2. Now, obviously, these are shoaling fish. This one was just hanging around on its own. I've seen it before with chromis and things like that, where the smaller one or the less dominant one of the pack will tend to hang around on its own, and then it'll get picked on and eventually they die. So I wasn't sure if these would do the same thing, because I've never had anthias before, wasn't too sure. But he really was starting to hang around on his own, wasn't bothering with the other 2 in the group. And yeah, eventually I started to notice that one was definitely starting to become a little bit more dominant, and I'll show you. It's this one. So that one there really did start to become a lot more dominant, and if you can see the dorsal fin on the top, I don't know if you can quite see. I mean, the beautiful fish, stunning fit. There you go. You can just about see the dorsal fin on the top. That would flare up, and then he'd just start attacking the smaller one that was just being a loner on his own. And I thought about what can I do. What can I do about this fish? And I thought, I wonder if I could just take him out, put him in my 170. But then I thought, what's the point? I'm only going to end up putting him back in here in a few weeks anyway. So, fingers crossed, let's hope they just battle it out and they'll come out the other side. Anyway, slowly but surely, he was battering him a little bit more. And next thing I know, I found him lying just in that little cave there on his side. I thought he was dead, in all honesty. His fins were really battered. Obviously, that one there had really given him a good pasting. Fins were all battered, so I put a turkey baster in just to blow a little bit of flow onto him to see if he moved. And he did. He was swimming around. Granted, he was only swimming on the bottom. He wouldn't go up into the main part of the tank, but he was still alive and he was still breathing, and he was all right. But from that moment on, he just would not eat. Could not get him to eat for love nor money. I try everything. I even got some food in a turkey baster and squirted it near him in that cave. Wasn't interested whatsoever. And he spent about 3 days, 2 to 3 days in that cave. But I've come down this morning, and he was still alive when I was making a coffee this morning before I started work, and came back in with a coffee, and I'd noticed that he wasn't in the cave anymore, and the flow had just carried him around to the back part of the tank, and unfortunately he passed away, and he died, which is a shame, to be honest with you. I know people kind of expect deaths in this hobby and stuff, but I don't like to see anything die, if I'm honest. The way I look at it, and the way I've always looked at it, is that fish, inverts, coral, whatever it may be, is taken from the ocean for our benefit, so we can keep them in our reef tanks at home and enjoy them being in our houses. Now, for me, that if they're being taken from their home, the least we can do as hobbyists is look after them. So anything dying really is a big no-no for me. I don't like it. Now, that's not based on money value or anything like that. I just don't like to think that something's died in my care. The only positive from it to come from it is, obviously, when I noticed the other day he was acting up and he was acting a little bit weird, I did test all the water. I was thinking, Christ, have I had an ammonia spike or has anything gone out of tune or out of sync? And it wasn't. I'd got 0 ammonia, 0 nitrite. That was all absolutely fine. And it was only afterwards that I noticed that his fins were all battered that I realised he was just getting picked on by that dominant female. I'm in two minds at the minute. Originally, before the fighting started, I was thinking, do I just buy a male? They hadn't got a male in the shop at the time, but I thought, do I just buy a male and then buy some more females to shoal around? Or would it be good for the channel to buy several females and watch one of them change into the dominant male? I thought that'd be quite cool, watching the colour change and obviously the fish change sex into the male. I'm still in two minds, because to be honest with you, I think that the dominant one is already starting to change. I'm not too sure, but yeah, I think she's already starting to change. So I'm going to give it another few days, because the shop still hasn't got any males in anyway. They're going to let me know next week where they're at. We're on Friday at the moment, so they're going to let me know next week. If they get a male in, I might just get one and see how we get on. I think it's going to be one of those ones that we just try whenever they get the fish in. Now, other than that, the tank has been going really, really good. The nitrate issue that I was having, where the nitrates spiked up to 40 because the bung came off the end of the skimmer without me realising, that is slowly coming down with the help of the no-pox. I'm coming toward, I think I'm on day 19 or day 20 of the cycle. I've got to do a water change today, so it's that day of the reefing chalk kit, sorry, not the cycle. So I am coming towards the end of the cycle, and to be fair, when I had my 170 in that cycle, at the end of it, the Red Sea booklet was saying I'd need, I think it was 2 parts per million nitrate, and I had like 25. But they did say that it can take longer in certain tanks to come down. I've got the same with this one, so I'm not overly concerned or overly worried about it, so we'll see how we get on. And I'll just slowly but surely bring it down through water changes or the no-pox, we'll see. I've also, I don't know if you can tell from looking underneath, but I've also built the Red Sea lid that you can buy. In all honesty, it was actually a fair bit more difficult than the Simply Aquaria one that I bought for the 170. That was a doddle. I literally put that together in the space of half an hour tops. This one, don't get me wrong, there's obviously the cutouts for the lights, and there's the cutout for the weir and things like that, and obviously the bracing bar in the middle, which that did take time. But the bit I found the hardest was the net. Now, as you can see, that's dipped down under there. I was doing this quite late at night. I didn't want to have an issue like I did with the last one, where I left the net till the morning and I had a fish jump overnight. If I'd have just built it on that night, I'd have saved that fish. So I thought, I'm not repeating what I've done in the past. If I've got to stay up and build it because I've got fish, I've got to stay up and build it. It's one of them, so I did. The only issue was, because I was the only one up, I should have got my missus really to help pull the net tighter to get that super tight. But thankfully, Red Sea do give you a fair bit of extra mesh to work with. So the plan is to take that mesh off, and the only other thing I've found actually is when you come to lift it up, you can't really tell actually on there, but it is actually quite flimsy. It's a lot flimsier than I thought it was going to be. So with that in mind, I've got extra parts from the kit, so I bought extra bits just in case I had an issue. I've had to modify these bits a little bit to make it work, but I've made, I don't know if you can see, sorry I'm not very good at the filming still, we'll get better at that. I've had to modify the parts slightly, but I've built a feeding hatch, which is going to go roughly there. And then with that part there that I'm pointing to, I'm going to have a bracing bar go all the way to the end, and hopefully that will strengthen up that section, because that's a lot of weight in that part. And that's the other bit, that's the other bit that I'll attach to the other end for the bracing bar for this, and then obviously the hatch will just lift out. I have had to modify the Red Sea parts to be able to do that. They don't do that automatically. I have had to look at it and design it myself and build it. Let's get that off there before it stretches it. So in the next video, I will show you how that actually goes fitting that. And I've also pushed the sand. I know in the last video the sand was all blown up. I've still got to look at the gyro controller because it's still blowing stuff around everywhere. So I have got to push it back a little bit further. But that's been going well. Let's just go into the sump and I'll explain what's been going on in there. As you can see, the skimmer is well and truly broken in now. That's doing great. Really chuffed with the skimmer. The Kessel H80, that's been going fine. Absolutely great actually. And the Cheeto, it's not dying, so that's a good sign. Now I've got the fish in, I'm hoping that's going to start to put some nutrients into the water and start feeding that, and we'll see how that goes. Let's just show you. There you go. So as you can see, it's certainly not dying on it. Looks like there's a white patch at the bottom, but it's not, it's just the light. Let's turn that off. The Clarity, that's coming to the end of the roll, and as you can see, it's not actually that dirty. I'm surprised it's run out this fast. It's been in on this Sunday, it's Friday now, so this Sunday it would have been in a month. Now, to be honest with you, I've got a friend of mine that's got one of these, and his rolls last 12 weeks. So that's run out super fast, and if you looked at his rolls, when it's coming to an end, I mean, it's a real dark brown. It really pulls the muck out of the water. This one, as you can see, it's not actually that dirty. So whether I've just got a duff roll, I'm not too sure. I have bought another roll. I'm thinking about raising the Clarity up so it's onto the top bracket. I have got to adjust the plumbing slightly to do that, but I'm actually thinking maybe just attach the new roll on. It's obviously coming to the very end now. You can see the cardboard and underneath. Attach the new roll on. Leave it as it is. Attach the new roll on. See how long that lasts. If that lasts 4 weeks, then I'll certainly need to raise it up. It's just one of them. It's just, I've never had one before. It's trial and error. Let's see how we get on. The other thing I've noticed, which to be honest with you, is a major balls up on my part. Obviously, I was planning on doing all the work first, all the cabinet work first, all the sump work, getting all the everything installed, and then putting the doors on after, because for me that was a good idea to save bashing the doors. What I didn't realise and think about, which is really stupid, but like I said, this is an honest channel, so let's be honest. When you hang the doors, and the only reason I properly thought about this is because I did a custom tank install for somebody on Monday, and we had to hang his doors. Now thankfully when we hung his doors I should say, they were automatically level. I've never seen that before, never had to touch, didn't have to do anything with them, really lucky. With these ones, if I need to raise all over the door to square the door up, I can obviously get to this one, that's fine. But how the hell am I going to get to that one that's behind the sump? Major mistake that is. So I'm putting that on the channel just so that if anybody does get one of these tanks, put the doors on before you do all the work. I know you're going to run the risk of bashing your doors, but if my door doesn't hang level from the off, I'm obviously gonna have to take all the sump out, which is gonna be a real pain in the arse, to be honest. Kicking myself really for not thinking about it sooner. I should have really. I can't believe I didn't think about it, but it's one of them. This channel's about being honest. This channel's about the ups and downs of this tank. So for me, it's about showing everything that's going on, and that's obviously a major mistake on my part. So hopefully this video will stop or help you from making the same mistake moving forward with your tank. That's what this whole tank and channel's about. It's about doing this together. So if anybody's got any advice or anything like that about the Antheas, for example, because I've never kept them before. I did do the research beforehand a little bit, but if anybody's got any personal knowledge on them, obviously please drop a comment in below. I've already been speaking to a few people that have kindly commented on the channel and on the videos so far with recommendations on certain bits of kit. Obviously I'll happily implement stuff if I can see that it's going to work well for me, or if it's something that I've not used before and that I can have a think about, then I'm obviously going to try and implement your ideas into it as much as my own. So hopefully you like this video, guys. In the next one, I am going to do a bit of a quick recap on the Red Sea Reefer 170 that's still going. It's all still alive. It's all doing great. Probably a bit too great, really. All the corals growing that much now. They're all starting to grow into each other and hit each other and starting to actually kill each other in some cases. I have got a couple of new additions that I've put in because I saw they were really healthy in the shop. So I've put them into my 170 for a couple of weeks while we finish off this. And let's see how we get on. So in the next video, I'll do a quick recap on the 170 and how that's going. I'll also give a shout out actually to people that have helped me along the way so far. Nathan Willard, cracking guy. He's got a channel on YouTube. Just type in Nathan Willard Reef Tank or something like that, he'll pop up. He did a great series on a Red Sea Reefer 250 full reef coral tank, SPS dominant, cracking set of video, well, series of videos. And he's now got a Red Sea Reefer 750 fish only system that he's again doing a full channel on how that tank's going. So he's a cracking guy. Phil Hubble, if you get a chance, have a look at Phil's channel. He's got a little channel. Hubs Reef, that's what you need to type in to have a look at his channel. Again, really good guy. He's having a brand new tank delivered tomorrow. I'm driving down to his tomorrow to give him a hand on the install, so we'll let you know how that goes. To be fair, it's getting quite good actually. I've been doing a few of these custom installs recently. They've been going really well, so we'll see what happens in the future regarding that. So Hubs Reef, he's a really good guy, so have a look at his channel and subscribe if you can. And obviously if you've got any advice for mine, drop it in the comments below. And obviously subscribe if you want to see more updates and more videos on this system. But thanks guys, I'll be in touch next week. And thanks again. Cheers, bye bye.